Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say Queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. They're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Queen's Lead podcast. Today, I am so ecstatic to be joined by Angela Misiano. She is the owner of Yoga Mountain Day Spa. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today.
Thank you so much for being here. You look fantastic. I love the earphones. You got the whole background. Everything's looking good on the YouTube channel. Good job. Good job.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So tell us a little bit about Angela. I understand you're kind of a city girl turned country girl here in Oklahoma.
Very much so. Like a Green Acres is my joke about it. I'm 52 years old and I landed in the country when I turned 50. That was a revolutionary year for me. Not only did I turn 50 years old, but yeah, I went from being an island girl as a child in Hawaii, but also downtown Honolulu is bustling, a lot of tourism. So I was still plunged, even on an island, still plunged into the city environment. So already was raised as a city slicker islander, then moved to Texas and Oklahoma and was still city slicker, just not islander anymore. And now I'm just none of the above. I'm just in the country, but I'm really starting to feel like my anxiety level and everything is getting lower, and the slower pace is actually very good for me. And there's a lot of pros and cons, but there's certainly a lot of pros. More pros as time goes on. It was a pandemic that thrust me here. Yeah. And then I started to manifest dreams and things for the community and for myself. And, then they started to just happen.
And they're falling into place.
They are starting to fall into place even more, but it's been 2 years already. And we're just at the ground floor of everything, but just still growing, still expanding, going up, building up. So it's not just one level of an old telephone company built in the 60s. It will now be a 2-story. So we're building on top.
Nice.
And so it's going to be a destination, an oasis, if you will, an oasis
for sure
for people to come and have a good vibe. And that's why I want to keep the vibe really good. And I've got to work so much on myself. So these last 2 years have been great because they have humbled me. That's
how so?
That's my theme. I was thinking a lot about the questions and prepping for all this. And I thought, what was it that really stuck out for me? And I'd say humbled by people in the community that just started attacking me.
Talk about that. So where you're 50, you're fabulous, you're female, and you're starting over in a new place with a business that you're growing.
And a baby menopause and where brain fog is a real thing, but there's so many haters. And I thought I was used to haters because I'd had dealt with it my whole life because I've been in the limo biz and entertainment industry, just been around things that brought that already to the forefront. So I thought, surely as I got into my 50s, we're going to have less mean girl. We're going to have less judgment. We're going to have less of that behavior and hating. And it's actually not really any different. And I've raised daughters. I have three daughters. And so, I've just never been able to escape it. And I finally realized you won't. But being a small business owner, you have a lot of lessons to learn. And so I'm actually glad that it's taken longer than I had anticipated and wanted. I've become very impatient at times in the journey. And I thought to myself, well, there's a reason now I'm figuring it out because I needed to be humbled. And now I'm really just rising up from the ashes of being just super slammed down and humbled.
That's awesome.
By life, by people.
That's something that everyone deals with.
Situations.
Yeah. When we go to start a new business, sometimes you think you're going to have all these cheerleaders on your side, especially your friends and family and old acquaintances and school friends and people out of the woodwork going to come cheer you on. But Sounds like you maybe didn't have that exact experience. What
Not
did you
exact,
experience?
about half and half. And I mean, actually, I can't say that. I say more support and positivity for sure, and a great support system.
But the
It's
negative people
actually
seem
the
louder.
negative people seem louder. I think it's
Right,
that
right? Yes.
I'm giving too much energy
That's
to
it.
those
Yeah.
people, and that's making my statistics, I'm not good at numbers and math, and that's making me probably way off. I think it's just the way I have felt lately, and so
Mhm.
just have to get that confidence. I just feel like I'm always having to give myself those little pep talks, and so this podcast came at a really good time for me, because I was like, Angela, you need to pep talk yourself into how you're going to, what you're going to say and what your message is going to be. And I thought, it's just going to flow now, because I'm going to just say, hey, it's been crazy lately, but I'm back on track, full steam ahead, freight train, woo, woo. So
That's it. So what is your message? What's the message that you're trying to bring to your community with Yoga Mountain Day Spa?
So I'm in a very, very rural community. There is less than 200 people in this town, but it wasn't always that way. Franklin Roosevelt himself stayed in one of the houses on Main Street that's just right around the corner from where I live. And
Wow.
he came through here when he was president to come to the wildlife refuge, because if you recall, Teddy Roosevelt he was quite the hunter and the nature enthusiast, activist, what have you. And
Yeah.
so wildlife and this and that was his thing, conservation corps, blah, blah. So he came down here, and they took a town that was called Parkersburg and turned it into Roosevelt. And there was a bank and a grocery store, and it was thriving, and schools and this and that. And then all that shut down. They stopped having school there in 94, I think.
Wow.
Somewhere in that area. Anyway, so long story short, it's just dwindled down. But this building is here, and my boyfriend's business is here. And so when I moved down here during the pandemic, because I didn't want to be in the city alone, I was scared, I was petrified. And then my granddaughter, it was announced to me that she was on the way. And so I was like kind of derailed with all my business stuff.
Yeah.
So my mission is going to be to serve the way that I wanted to. When I came down here, I saw this building, and it was a telephone company, and it's a multi-dimensional building. It's got several little cubby hole room type, it's beautiful. There's a front area, but then we have tanning, and then we have massage, and we have a kitchen area, and then we, have a yoga, exercise, dance, fitness space, bar. And now we're just continuing to expand. So I think the message would be for a safe space, a safe, positive space with positive vibes, a destination for the people out here in this rural area. It could be some opportunities for them to have things they would not normally have access to. They're building a casino. The mountains are here, the Wichita Mountains, Quartz Mountain. I look up every day at beautiful mountains, but it's small farm communities. What I'm bringing, my message is somewhat foreign. It is city driven, but I'm countrifying it.
Yeah.
Every day I'm bringing something here that people are open to, and more people will become more open to it as they become more comfortable and they see us flourishing as we're opening up and expanding and building and so forth. I think people will say, oh, she hung in there. She stuck it out. It's going to be okay. I really believe, and especially once the private event space is open, we start bringing comedians and live music and belly dancing. And I mean, all of the fun things that out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, kind of, isn't that how Vegas started?
You're kind of like, okay, so let me see if I'm hearing this right. You're kind of like,
and there's going to be a big patio up there.
You're kind of like a mall to offer self-care and fun, vibey stuff to small town people.
Yeah. And
right?
then bring even the people, even bringing people from the little bigger towns around that are 30 or 40 minutes away. Hey, let's go check out that yoga mountain. They're doing some crazy thing over there tonight. Oh yeah, because I've lived out here. Exactly. I've lived out here long enough to know that after a while on a Friday and a Saturday, you're like, what would
there's nothing else to do, right?
Yeah. So we might offer food and drinks and entertainment, something that they don't have in patio space. And then we're going to build a third level on top of it with patio space. So we're just going to make it something. I've always thought, since I came to the southwestern part of the continent. I've always thought it's really a patio life. It's really, I think it's cool down here. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll just hang out and enjoy it and just build on it. So yeah, I'm trying to bring, yes, well, like I said, positive vibes of wellness and self-care. And I've talked to some people out on the West Coast that are trying to create safe space. And sometimes women have tended to gravitate to my space. And they say things like, I don't want to go home tonight to my husband or my boyfriend or my kids. I want to stay here and talk. And I thought, hey, I am doing something here. And it's a spinoff because I'm trying to cater to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like I have to meet some females where they are, all females where they are, no doubt. But I'm learning about how to meet them where they are. And I'm learning that that's really important through talking to some other women that are kind of doing what I'm trying to do, that they've already successfully done it for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, giving me really good advice, long distance. They're like, okay, sister, this is how it is. And this is what you need to do. And so I'm like branching off even into that, even to trying to understand the people that come at me with the adversity. Where are they coming from? Why are they coming this way? And what can I do next time to be more prepared for that left field ball? I've actually been hit by a ball at a baseball game in the head, a fly ball.
Right in the head.
I had another fly ball happen, but I've probably had a few and just didn't quite categorize it as that bad.
Yeah.
But that's what this most recent one was. So it humbled me. And it taught me a lot. And so I'm just going to keep getting up every day and showing up and not giving up.
Well, that's the way you have to do it. That's the only way. My 80-year-old grandmother told me at a time in my life when I was so depressed, I couldn't get off the couch. I was ready to swallow pills, ready to die. Like no one, not that I didn't want to be here, but I didn't think people needed me. I thought they'd be better off. But those words, just keep moving, just keep going.
But that's where I was
just
too.
Keep going.
That's where I was too. If I was to go really dig deep into my core of who I am, I would have to be honest about, having to go inpatient therapy for mental health issues. And I'm not ashamed to tell that story. And that would be a whole other podcast.
Right. Me too. Well, we can make it about that.
We can
I've
do
done
that.
it myself.
I need to probably tell my story because I think it would help me to feel better. I'm getting to the point where I don't really cry near as much in life. And so I'm not crying as much when I tell my story. So I'm getting closer and closer to healing on that. The economy's been a challenge. COVID was a challenge. Construction work's been a challenge. I want to keep meeting all those challenges, but I've got to have good mental health for that.
Yeah. So what do you do today to keep your mental health in check after all of that and your recovery? What are your most important action steps that you take every day that keep you where you need to be?
Yoga and meditation for sure. Those two things. Nature. It's very quiet out here and peaceful in the country. And I would say those are good things for somebody that suffers anxiety, depression. Somebody like me, I feel that being out here, it's a slower pace. And so I've gotten more relaxed. And so I'm not near as bad as I used to be. And I do have coping skills now. I know that I can walk outside and take a deep breath, or I can come up here into my meditation room where I'm at right now and do some meditation. I know that I can do some yoga. I know that I can listen to a podcast.
Yeah. To other inspiring women. So what do you want to say to the listeners that are maybe struggling with those out of the park ball hits to the head? Like, what's going on, man? How do you deal with it?
I think you have to keep your support system really strong.
Yes.
I'd say the thing that's helped me the most is people just literally in my ear every day in and day out. You can't listen to what other people say. You can't react. You can't let it affect you. You can be strong. You can continue to do what you're doing. I mean, there's positivity in there, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of, Angela, you're gonna have to learn basically to force yourself to understand that you have got to continue to march, and you can't sit and wallow in that area where you get depressed because somebody in the community is raging on you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I would love to meet everybody in the community where they're at. The main beef was they thought that they were going to write my narrative as a business owner here and tell me what type of branding to have for my yoga. And I was told to walk my path. I've been in yoga 30 years, you know,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
I was told to walk my path. And to make my own brand of yoga when Yoga Mountain finally became a reality, I was told to brand it to my own style of yoga. And that's what I'm doing. And it's not fitting everybody's narrative. We want everybody here, whether they're vegan or non-vegan, we want everybody here, no matter who their higher power is. And see, this is making people upset that I won't get into politics and religion.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two things as a child of the 80s, the 70s and the 80s. That's how I was raised. You don't talk about those things. So that's just a part of I'm wired to that. And I can like vibe and flow with just about anything. But that's just who I am. So I just don't want those two things. I've shoveled tiles in 108-degree temperatures when we got this building. I've put sweat equity into it. So I should be able to say if I want politics or not. And so the answer is no. And so I'm a welcoming space. That's the word I really want to get out to everybody. Look at Yoga Mountain Day Spa as a welcoming space, as this place a place you can come to that's judgment free, regardless of sexual orientation, religion, political affiliations. Just come and enjoy yourself and have fun here. I really just think it's so boring. That's all everybody wants to talk about. All I want to talk about over here is let's have fun. Let's do some belly dancing. Yeah. Let's do some cardio burlesque. I mean, I think people sometimes, not just in rural areas, everywhere, and women and men, just uptight. Let's let go and have some fun.
Get loose.
Let it go.
For real. Let that shit go.
Don't be so serious. Let's just have fun. And I see all that seriousness. And so I'm putting this bubble around me. Like, I don't want that serious vibe over here. I want this to be, woo, fun zone.
That's it. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm
zen on my yoga thing. I have enough savvy in the yoga field and in the yoga community as long as I've done it as a student, and now I'm working into the teaching realm, which is a whole different ballgame. And that's another podcast. Not just being a business owner of a brick and mortar, but going through these certifications and trainings, and I'm just only halfway there, not even really to the full 500-hour yogi master that I would love to someday be. But I have a baby. I have a baby on top of everything.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
I had to relearn.
Not your baby at 53.
No, it's my granddaughter, but she is my baby, you know, because I've had her since day 5. And so she's a blessing, and that's all there is to it. But of course, things did have to go to the back burner. And I realize now that I've got to cut myself some slack.
Yeah.
And not be so hard on myself, because I'm still every day in the game, trying to be in the game and taking care of her. I'm learning how to buy a USB microphone and a ring light and headphones as I'm like portioning out carrots, peas.
I love it.
How much protein is this girl supposed to get? Is it juice and milk? Have I changed her lately?
Have I showered today?
Hey, let me grab this Vitamin Crush energy drink. And it's good stuff, and it's good. Oh, it tastes really good. So anyway, I'm finding all the little life hacks to make it.
Yeah, I love that. Who have some of your biggest mentors been? I know you said you talked to some other women or men that have been in this for 10, 20, 30 years. Have you had some mentors that have helped you along the way?
Oh, for sure. I would say when I started my yoga journey, I was 30 years of age. And the ladies that I met had a contemplative community in Missouri, and it's still there. It's called Willow Springs. It's actually called Heart Haven, but it's in a town called Willow Springs. And these ladies are the purest hearts you would ever know. They've studied in India. They've gone to the mountaintops with the Babas, and they're incredible yogic nuns. One is from the Netherlands. The other lady is from New York.
Wow.
But, these are some incredible women. And So Madhuri Ma and Shivani Lynn, I hope they're going to listen to this. They found me at a retreat at Beaver Lake, Arkansas, and I was a lost soul.
Oh,
I was a mother of three girls. That's way too many hormones mixed
yes.
with mine.
Right.
And no, what man could survive?
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot tried and hung in as long as they could. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, that's another podcast. That's just so funny. But no, actually, they all were steadfast. Actually, I have to say that they all loved my kids. But so I just really adore her, and I feel like she's actually made me a better person. So I'm so glad that I'm getting to incorporate her into this journey still.
Nice.
Nothing bitter whatsoever. Just have had to make a lot of huge adjustments.
Yeah, I bet. So tell us about, we've heard some of the services you're wanting to offer one day, like the belly dancing and concerts and patios. What are you offering to your community now that they can come and partake in?
So right now I'm offering things that are about 30 miles out any direction from me. I'm doing teeth whitening, and I'm offering spray tans. I'm offering bed tanning. I have also a sunless tanning option that's part of my retail. I have several retail items I'll be offering. I'll be dropping those in the fall. I'm going to have a private label CBD products and body scrubs, coffee scrubs, CBD creams, lotions, bath bombs, things of that nature. I don't want to give away all my cool retail stuff yet. I want to keep all those surprises, but just to know for sure, yes, we are going to offer that.
Shopping available.
Yes. And we are doing my dance fitness classes, my bar classes, and my yoga classes. I'm getting people to come to those events while we're working on the hydrotherapy room in the locker room. We have massage chairs that they can come into. I had some women, you asked about mentors. I had some women in Oklahoma City, and they are spectacular. And they own property and businesses there. And they told me, Angela, the best advice we can give you is get in there. Because I was really feeling depressed and wondering what to do, stagnating for a while there. Mm-hmm. And things were just stagnating, and everything around me was stagnating. And I had to go into bitch mode and decide what was best for me. And this is what happened. And this was my hairdresser in the city. And it's hard when you have to break up with a hairdresser because you've moved 2 hours away. So I just couldn't do it anymore. But anyway, so I was up there, and she says, girl, let me tell you something. I need you to get in there and claim your space. Get in there and own it. That's your building. Get in there. Make it yours. No matter what, if everything's crumbling around you. And it was at the time. And she says, make this your space. And I said, and I was like, really? And I was just a disheveled mess. And she's like, no, seriously, go home and get in there and make it your space. And that's when I came in and cleaned house and said, all right, this is how it's got to go. And now I have a great team of people that are behind me and understand my vision, and my goal is to get it done and get it done correctly. And let's get this show on the road, and let's offer things. So in the meantime, yes, I'm offering the tanning. The spray tan is mobile. I'll be setting up mobile spray tan parties for Norman, Chickasha, Lawton.
Nice.
So I was planning to bring Elgin, I was trying to bring it to some larger rural communities, and Lawton's pretty decent size. And so I've got that to offer, but we've got so much more on the horizon. But yeah, right now we're looking for a massage therapist, and I have salon positions, barber, nail tech. I've got all the equipment. I'm just ready for people, but it's been hard, as you know, if you've talked about challenges. And that's a challenge I think everybody's had. I don't want to let it get me down, but it's been a challenge finding people for sure. It's been a challenge, I think. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, we're so close to tying up just a few little loose ends that's when people will come in, and everybody will start finally getting back into work mode and wanting to work again. And I think people are shy to work in this industry right now. The healing industry, the contact, one-on-one contact industry with people. They're afraid. I understand that. So I have to understand and just appreciate and respect the fact and have so much gratitude for the fact that I am a small business owner in 2022. And I owe it all to my boyfriend, George Garrison. He made this dream happy for me. He bought this
Shout out to
building.
George.
He made this dream happen. He bought the building to make sure that, this could be my forever
That's amazing.
passion place.
How long have you guys been together?
5 years.
And you
September,
moved from the city to be
Yes.
there with him?
Yes.
And you said he has a
I
business
was
there
a
in
scaredy
town as
cat.
well.
He does. It's Parks World. I'm not trying to do a shameless plug.
Oh,
but
sure. Shameless plug. Parks World. What do they do?
it is one of the largest auto salvage yards.
Oh,
in
nice. Oh, Parks
Oklahoma.
World.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay.
And people come, it's the motto or the slogan is it's worth the drive. And it is because people come from all different states to get things from him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's got
All
like
right.
some campers and some boats out there, older model,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Sweet.
he's been doing it for 36 years. He was such a go-getter at age 20. I mean, I started working at age 6. I was in radio and television and just kind of went from there. And
Wow.
he was over here wheeling and dealing and working since about age 6 himself, and then working really hard during the harvest during high school. And then after he got out, he got Parts World in his very early 20s and just took off like a rocket. And he's been doing
Wow.
it. And so we're so different, but we're great for each other. So
Yeah, it sounds like it. So tell us a little bit about, you've mentioned to me a time or two, you've been in radio and TV since a child.
So at age 6, I started radio. I went to a radio station, and it was in a shopping mall right outside the military base. My dad was a Marine, and we lived over in Hawaii. And so I went over, and because back then you could cruise around for several miles away from home and you were okay.
Right.
Anyway, so my parents are like shopping, and I'm like over here. I mean, we were really not supervised. Now that I have my granddaughter, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was the 70s and 80s.
They left us to just here
Right.
you go, like juggling
Yes.
knives. I was like, oh my. So
Right.
so I'm over here, and I've got my face up against the glass, and they came up to me and they said, do you want to come in and look around? It was an oldies, or like a talk station, oldies station, news station, whatever. And it was AM, just a small little AM station. But they're like, come on in, little girl, because I'm pressing my face on their glass.
Yeah.
You stop that. Come in here. And that's when it exploded. And they sat me down and they had me read copy. And they're like, we're going to put this girl on commercials. And they exploited me for a while until my parents were like, okay, now you're going to pay my daughter to do so.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
But I would go be an intern for TV anchors on the weekends, just to drive around in the Porsches, and just over in Honolulu, and just be able to go on all the cool stories and meet all the famous people. And
cool.
So I didn't need to be paid for that. So I interned a heck of a lot more. But when my parents were involved before I turned 18, yeah, they were making sure I was doing radio and television commercials and getting paid for it.
They got you paid.
And I moved down here, and everybody's like, oh, there's no way, you'd have to be 80 years old to do all the things you've done. I thought to myself, no, I'm just coming from a place where if you've got the opportunity and you're a hustler boy, you can hustle it, all of it.
That's it.
And so, some people are just like, they're just like, well, whatever. And I'm just going to just shine my beacon of light over here. And I'm telling you, it is a humbling, good experience. It just is. It is very green acres. My boyfriend had to really calm me down, and it's working.
Do you have a pig named Arnold yet, though? That's what I need to know.
No, but we're working on a chicken for Zoe, because my granddaughter, she is adorbs, and she's 18 months and loves chickens. Her babysitter has chickens, and so she kisses ceramic chickens, real chickens, just any chicken, she'll kiss it. She loves chickens.
Oh my gosh.
And
go
so
to your nearest tractor supply and get that baby a chicken.
Right. And I want to get a goat for the goat yoga, a goat or two for goat yoga in the future. So yeah, there's animals on the horizon for sure.
Nice.
And there's farmland and space for them that we have acquired. So life is good. Yeah.
Life is good.
Animals are coming. There will be hay shoveling at some point. And I'm even going to do a yoga class for like farm poses, like milking, and my girlfriend, I have another big shout out yogi influence to Anna Swedberg. And I know she'll be listening at some point, because she's my other yogi guru that taught me, how to make it work for everybody for yoga. And so I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep taking mentorship from her as well. So I'm truly blessed. I'm truly blessed to have had some great mentors and some wonderful people and done yoga at some great studios and met so many people and done incredible yoga retreats and just
So
learned
I
so
heard you
much.
say something. Yoga is for everybody, right?
Mhm.
Tell
I'm
us a few words
trying
about
to.
that, because the 40-year-old woman in me is like, can I bend into a pretzel? Do my wrists hold me
Yeah.
up? Is this really for me? Or do you got to be 25 in yoga pants to succeed in?
No, that's the myth we want to dispel. If nothing else, that's another message I want to bring to the community. If it's possible for people to have an open mind to understand, I put it right out there, and this is another thing that made people upset. I put it right out there. We're not doing religion, we're just doing yoga. Okay. And I want everybody to feel comfortable, and I want them to come with any shape, size, at some point you're going, if you stay in it and keep persistent and consistent with it. And that's the key in yoga. It is not who's the strongest, who's the fastest, who's the most badass. It is how long you give yourself the patience of weeks, months, years to build those stretches, stretch those stretches and go, oh my gosh, I remember when I couldn't do any of this. Look at me now.
Yeah.
Woo! And it's, but it takes a process, and that's the process. And I'm just trying to meet everybody where they are with yoga to say, please come. It doesn't matter what you are or who you are. I just come and be a nice person. Just come and just be a nice, beautiful light. Come shine your beautiful light and just be a nice person.
Yeah. And learn how to move and flex and get healthier in the process. That's the key. I love
Well,
that.
I feel like yoga really, I'm telling you, when I lived in Dallas, Texas, big metroplex, DFW, there were people there, and I was going to yoga every day, 2 hours a day, even on Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, George would come down and see me, but I mean, I was hardcore. I didn't know anybody at the time. I'd moved from Oklahoma City, and I was hardcore working, on yoga all the time. And that's when I decided someday I'm going to teach it. Someday I'm going to do it and have some space. But yeah, that space in Roanoke, it helped to really get me to understand that if I just stay consistently in it, and after a while, I was getting, to a place where I was doing really well with it and really getting in it and decided I wanted to teach it. But that's when I realized, oh, you got to accept everybody in it and make people feel comfortable. And
Yeah.
so far, I think I'm building a tribe. Excuse me, I'm so sorry about that. I'm building a tribe of yogi warriors.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So tell us a little bit about, before we wrap up, I know you're pretty passionate about a nonprofit here in the metro area of Oklahoma called No Boundaries International.
Yes.
What are they all about, and why is it important to you?
I'll tell you, you want to talk about some mentors? That's some mentors, but not in the yoga community, in the Christian community, in the women empowerment community. Okay. There was a group of women that at a local church on the southwest side of Oklahoma City when I was living over there in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. They were offering business attire, briefcases, personal hygiene products, things for your children, things for single moms. And there was a time when I have to humble myself to the fact that, I had become a widow, and I was out there for many years as a single mom. And so, it took me a while to fix a lot of things, and I'm working on all that healing stuff now, and that's another podcast. but no, these women at this old fire station, they would come once a week and pray with me and pray for my children and give me fresh sack of groceries and say, hey, you got this, and here's this beautiful Betsy Johnson briefcase, we want you to look good at work. Because I didn't have anything really, there for a few months. I was getting back on my feet. Yeah. I've dined with the kings and, had to scrape and scratch some other times, but it's been a balance. It's been that dance of balance. And that's why I'm so grateful for anything and everything I have, which I owe George a lot. Like I said, I'm very grateful to him for making this dream possible. That's why I want to put all the work and all the hard work and effort into it and not give up. I just need to get the tools. So I'm really hoping that you and I can develop a good relationship, because you have so much you can give to me, as far as business advice for me, I believe on the digital technology scale as well. I just need all that help. I desperately need all that help.
Yeah, we
But
all
I'm-
need a little help
but
from
I'm
time to
not-
time.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not giving up. And that's really the biggest message I want to give everybody is, hey, let's none of us give up.
That's
Let's
right.
not give up just because of COVID, just because of setbacks. I've had so many setbacks, so I just don't think we should give up. Let's just keep going forward. And I'm so glad we did this because I
Me
think it's been
too.
good therapy today for me to just get all of this out.
Yeah.
And it just
So-
flowed. It just flowed. So everybody, please come to yoga. Don't be bashful. We do beer yoga, wine yoga, goat yoga. So,
Any way you want to get your yoga, you can get it in at Yoga Mountain Day
sunset
Spa.
yoga, sunrise yoga on the patio yoga stuff. I mean, so yeah, it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome. All right. So tell the guests where they can find you and connect to come and see your facility, participate in yoga, or maybe even do some shopping.
Exactly. So I'm located on the cross of Highway 19 and Highway 183. And I'd say about 25 minutes from Quartz Mountain, and there's a lodge there.
Yes.
And then we're about 45 minutes from the Wichita Mountains and Medicine Park and Lake Latonka. So then, so that drive through the refuge, through the wildlife refuge, Medicine Park, Mount Scott, any of those day excursions, day hiking, feel free to come. We have a eucalyptus steam sauna, 2 hot tubs, and an infrared dry sauna with Himalayan salt packs, a stereo with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and multi-chrome colors
Nice.
for different healing,
Yeah.
So we've got healing and compassion over here, and we're just going to be a welcoming space. So I'd say from Oklahoma City, the best thing to do is just jump on I-40, get off, I believe it's exit 66 or 64, but anyway, it's basically a Clinton exit. You get off of there and you take Highway 183 towards Cordell. Keep going and you'll run right into Yoga Mountain Day Spa. You cannot miss us. We're the round circle building with 2 stories across
In
from a
Roosevelt,
convenience-
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Named after the late President Roosevelt.
Teddy
I learned something new today.
Roosevelt. Exactly.
I
I'm
love
glad
it.
I could have brought some trivia and some new little knowledge and wisdom to you. And I can't wait
Yes.
till you're our personal guest out here when everything is really just off and popping. I would love to spoil you with a spa day out here. My
Oh,
treat.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much, Angela, for being our guest. And thank you for being a queen that leads. You guys go over to yogamountaindayspa.com and learn more about Angela. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram and see some of their great pictures and offerings there.